Well, we are live again. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another Financial Friday.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, oh yeah.
Financial Friday, where we are rising up out of our financial slumps and we are thriving in financial freedom. And so I'm your host, Dr. A.D. Burns, and my co-host, Brother James, Minister, Brother Sergeant. Uh, what's your army title? You
Oh, Chief. I'm a chief in the
Chief,
army.
Chief.
Yeah, Chief Jones.
Chief Jones, that's what they call you around there.
Oh yeah, they
I like
yeah.
that. Chief Jones. So I got Chief Jones on the line, and we are super excited. So they waiting on you to say something to the grinders.
Oh yeah. Hello everyone, and good evening to all my grinders. Oh yeah.
I,
Oh
I,
yeah.
I like how your whole demeanor change. You pause and then you go Hollywood over here.
My grinders know what it's about. My
Okay.
grinders know. They be with me in the morning. They be with me in the morning, like, oh, okay, there you go. I'm like, yeah, there you go. We got our top three. We're gonna grind out the whole day. So yeah.
Well, listen, this year has went so fast. And we are coming up on the end of the year. We had some great tips for Thanksgiving when it came to family, and you was a great example because you had a lot of family over, so you had a lot of activity in the background. And then we talked about
Oh
Black
yeah.
Friday, how important it was to not allow yourself to overspend, and we talked about some tips with that. And so now we got Christmas coming up, and we say the same thing that we said for Black Friday. You want to be careful not to overspend. It was interesting, James. I heard on the news that they said that they have this pay as you go plans now. A lot
Mhm.
of them are becoming very popular in just about any venue. You can buy now and pay later. And they said that so far this holiday season, they have over $1 billion worth of commitments of people who bought now and pay later. Isn't that incredible?
Yeah, it reminds me of a thing that we used to do back in my day. We called it layaway.
You call it layaway.
We call
But the what's different with layaway though, you didn't get to take it home till you finished it, paying
yeah,
for it.
yeah. You got to pay for it first, and then you
Right.
get it later.
Yeah,
So
yeah. And
yeah,
so,
yeah. So pay as you go is pay as you go is no different than a credit card. It's
yeah,
just that now different facilities are holding your money or
mhm,
holding a loan on your money.
yeah.
So yeah, so it's just a new way to keep you in debt, keep you borrowing, but it allows you to have the semblance or the
Yeah.
essence of owning something.
And that was a thing that I was leaning towards when I brought that up. Is I was leaning from the perspective that's really a dangerous way to live. You know,
Yeah,
because you start buying things because in most cases, if you have to do that, in a lot of cases, that means that you really can't afford it.
yeah,
In a lot of cases, now, there might be somebody using that as a strategy, but in a lot of cases, you can't afford it, and so you're getting it, and then now when those payments start coming due, it's infringing on your budget, and if you don't have that budgeted in there to the degree that you have that money to do that, you can find yourself in trouble with too many of those buy now, pay later, you know, it's my money, I want it now kind of things.
yeah. I mean, and those are all just I want to say schemes, but at the end of the day, there are ways for other entities to make money, and I'm not knocking another person's hustle. I guess that's the
Mhm.
best way to put it. However, or I think a better way to say is, with that being said, even though I'm not knocking someone else's hustle, that doesn't mean that I'm gonna willfully let somebody fall into that trap
Yeah.
without telling them, "Hey, man, that's a trap." Right?
Mhm.
We all, if we can see the trap and we can understand that the trap is there, then why would I let you go into the trap? Why not? I'm gonna just say, "Hey, I want you to just look at it. Just look at it. It may be a trap.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, there are some people who they're playing the game differently. They're just playing the game differently.
Yeah.
They have a strategy and they have a strategy that they're utilizing in order to boost their credit, or they have a strategy that they're utilizing in order to pay down debts and then to reverse it onto another credit card or to another debt, right? Those are strategies that other people are playing, but that's not the general rule.
Yeah.
Most people are legit putting themselves in a debt that they don't know how to get out of. They just know that they need it now. I want to impress those people now.
Yeah.
And the now that they're looking for is costing them $22, 22% on every dollar.
Okay.
Or the now they're looking for is selling for $700. But once you get done paying the department store bag that you bought it from, now you're paying it for $1,000.
Right.
Because some people they're not looking at the total payment, they're looking at the right now payment.
Right.
So my right now payment is $78 a month, but the end payment is going to be $920 for a $700 item. And it's that not looking at or not adding up that is so detrimental to growth. Yeah. So I am in complete agreement with that we need to be able to look at those things.
Yeah, that's important, especially during this season, because you have your heart in the right place in that you want to give someone a gift or you want to get something, but you have to look at that long-term effect that can have, especially those of you who are planning on going on this journey with us in 2025 on the road to six figures. And so you don't want that looming over your head. And as we go through the road to six figures, you're going to see that it's important that we develop a tolerance for delayed gratification, which means that we're going to have to be able to allow our money to work for us now and then be able to enjoy something later.
Yes.
I was reading something when we put together our 90-day challenge, and we have it in there as a quote. It talked about how, and I'm gonna paraphrase it a little bit, how most people, they spend their money and whatever's left over, then they try to invest. And this guy, I forgot his name, he said, you switch that around. You make your investment first, and then you budget based on what's left. And I thought that was genius. I said, that's a good idea. So if I target, let's say a $500 CD, and then I go after that and I change my lifestyle so that I can be able to live off of what's left there, I can move faster down the road than I would if I just, take what is left over and then give $20 and add it up that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So what you're describing is just it's like how do you accelerate something that you're accelerating? Well, how do you do that? Well, if I exclude an emergency, if I exclude like the small processes, because like let's say sanity is 5%. If I was to take that and I was to take my acceleration, right? Because you still got your living expenses.
Sure.
And now instead of you using 20%, now you're up to 40% of your income, you're pushing into an investment. If that investment pays out, is that much faster. So now you're doubling what you put inside an investment.
Yeah.
So what they're talking about isn't bad. It's just that how much risk are you willing to take in order to achieve what you want to achieve?
Yeah. And there are safe places though. When you talk about investing in stock, that could be a volatile place because that can go up and down. When we talk about investing in like a CD, those are pretty safe, in that, you put it in there and if it's 6 months, in 6 months it's coming back to you. You know what I mean? It's not like you put it in a place where you put it in at $500, but you take it out at $300. You know what I mean? Because you lost something, Or when you look at different types of savings accounts, if you find savings account that has a higher interest, you know, they have like those high balance accounts, and then being able to invest in those, but being willing to take the big boy steps to accelerate, you know, as you on your road to your six figures. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things in which I am huge fan of is money market accounts.
Mhm.
So when they say money market savings is a money market account, so it's used or it's geared to have different tiers, and as much money as you can put inside there, that's the best way to save your money in my aspect.
Yeah.
And remember, I want to put it out there so everybody's in agreement and everybody understands what I'm talking about. A savings is a temporary account. Don't put your money in there to last forever. It's temporary. You put your money in there, you get an amount in which you're reaching for, and then you move it into a money market, or you move it into a CD, you move it into your stocks.
Mhm.
And by doing that, your money is actually making more money.
Right.
By leaving inside a savings account that's making point something, right? Point anything, 0 point anything is not making you the money that you need to make in order to actually attain or to actually pursue or to actually go for that six-figure lifestyle. All they're doing is putting your money at a disadvantage because just inflation alone is your money is losing its value while you're while you're doing that.
And so that's why what we talked about throughout the Financial Fridays, as far as giving your money an assignment, that's why that's so important. And you know, your savings account is only a place where you park it until you reach the goal to be able to move it into a place where it's going to bring return. And so that's part of the strategy of, you know, moving your money from one a place where it's not making money to a place that is making a little money to a place that is making more money. And so I'm really excited about the road to six figures. And we said we're going to start out with a 90-day challenge to try to help people to get their mindset together. Now, last week's lesson is very crucial to being on the road to six figures. And today's lesson is going to be crucial as well. Developing that characteristic or that mindset or those habits. You know, we got to develop those habits because oftentimes we're working against ourselves. And so let's talk just a little bit about the 90-day challenge. 90-day challenge is going to start January 3rd, first Friday in the new year. We're going to start with our 90-day challenge, and our 90-day challenge is going to go for those 90 days. Now, it's going to be so important that each week we're going to build on something. On that first week, we're going to be talking about laying the foundation, and so we're going to be giving you we're going to give you the
keys.
But you're going to have to, you know, read. That's one thing is going to make the difference. So we got to lay it out into 12 weeks, and then that last week will be a week of review and kind of chopping it up for testing for those who you may be having some challenges or has some different challenges, and we'll try to answer your questions. But that first week is about laying the foundation, and so that first week will be about laying the foundation. Second through the fourth week will be about building habits for success. You know, and so you got to have the right habits. You know, you have to have the right things that you're doing so you're not working against yourself. Week 5 and 6, we're going to be talking about active income, and that's one of the areas that James is, you know, really excited about. We talked about active income before, and so we want to talk about that so you can understand. You know, it's different things when it comes to income. Income is just not income. There's different forms of income, and it's important that we be targeted the right form. Week 7 and 8, we're going to be talking about saving and investing, kind of some of the things chopped up today in a little more depth of saving and investing. You know, so how can I begin to get my money working for me and seeing my money grow while I'm sleeping? It's growing. While I'm working, it's growing. And then week 9 and 10, we're going to talk about overcoming obstacles. And we're sure by the week 9, you would have faced some challenges. And we're going to try to address those challenges so that you don't get weary and give up. We don't want you to give up. We don't want you to give in, and we don't want you to give out. And then on that week 12, 11 and 12, we'll talk about generational wealth and legacy, and so it's going to be really exciting. And then that last week, week 13, that'll be the week that we kind of, chop it up and have an open forum type of thing. And then after that 13 weeks, then we'll be releasing our On the Road to Six Figure book. And then each week we're going to start going through each one of the chapters, and we're going to walk through that book throughout the year. And our goal is that many of us will be on our way, if not experience six figures.
Yes.
That sound good. Yeah, it's our goal, to help people. It's time for our people to step it up. Yes. We have the wherewithal. We have trillions of dollars that go through our community every year. Yes. Even when people look at their tax money that they get back, or they look at their W-2 of all the money that they made in a year, it shocks a lot of people, because they look at that money at the end of, on that W-2, and it says you made, $60,000, $70,000, or, whatever the number is. And then you think about, where did that money go? And so we want to be able to bag that train up and start making some deposits along the way. So at the end of the year, we'll be able to look and see, you know what, I got 50 grand. I got parked up this year. You know what I mean? So let's jump into our lesson for tonight. We got three areas tonight that we need to talk about, because these are foundational principles that's important. And so listen, as James get ready, why don't you just type in the chat for me, if you plan on being a part of the 90-day challenge. Just type something in the chat. Say, I'm in, I'm on the road. Come on, just type it in. Let me see you type it in. Come on, type it in. And yeah. Say, I'm in, I'm all in. I'm on the road. I'm on the road. Yeah. And so it's going to be an exciting time. It's going to be one of the things I believe, our belief is going to change the lives of so many people for the better. And if you lock in on these habits and these, attitudes and things that we're teaching you, not only would you be on your road to six figure, you can very well be on your way to millionaire status. Come on, talk to me now.
I think that's one of the great things is I had to type in like in too, because just because I'm the guy telling everybody how to do it and teaching the ways on how to do it, it doesn't mean I don't want to be in the same boat. Yeah. I mean, I'm starting a new year off fresh, just like everybody else.
Yeah.
Because new money can produce a new essence of six figures.
Yeah.
And people are like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, the money I made last year, that $1 I made last year, I want to transmit that $1 into six figures.
Yeah.
$10 I made last year. When I take that into this year, I'm not looking at what I made next year. I'm looking at what I'm making right now. The money I got in my pocket, what can I do in order to put myself into making six figures, or walking in six figures, or in the roadway to making six figures? So when you see me typing in the chat, I'm not being facetious. I'm telling you, I'm there. I'm in.
Yeah. We both are. I'm gonna take the road. I'm gonna take the same challenge.
Yes.
I'm gonna take the same principles. And I'm serious about mine, and I got a couple things, on my list, and I don't want to mix you up right now. So you can't handle the truth. You can't handle it right now. Come on, James. Let's talk about, let's continue to build, because if they can get this and start applying it to their decision-making process and applying it to their way of life, they could begin to see changes instantly.
Yes.
I mean, literally instantly. If you could begin to alter your habits and lock in and begin to make this part of a way of life for you, a lifestyle, you could begin to see changes instantly. Come on, let's talk
Yeah.
about
Yeah, grinding stuff out grinding things out allows you to see all of the nuances of what you're doing. And when you're focused on doing the same thing over and over again, now you can see the shortcuts in what you're doing, because it may be steps one through 10, but now you see that steps 3 and 4 are very similar. So now you're doing steps you're doing step 1, 2, 3.5, and you're already at step 5. Why is that? Because you're seeing that you can combine some pieces in 3, and now you can hit 4.
Yeah.
Because you've been grinding out 1 through 10, 1 through 10, 1 through 10. So now you can see, okay, cool. If I do 2 properly, or if I do step 2 and I layer my foundation, I don't have to spend a long time on 3. I can be already at 4 in a week. Why? Because as you're grinding it out, and this is always key, as you're grinding it out. This isn't something that you pick up today and you're like, well, I'm gonna wait until next week Friday, then I'm gonna get back on it. No, you pick it up Friday. You look at it on Saturday. You look at it on Sunday. You grind it out on Monday. You look at it on Tuesday. You grind it out on Tuesday. You grind it out on Wednesday. You look at it on Thursday. You grind it out on Friday. You like, man,
Yeah.
that's only week 1.
Right. And that's important to have that kind of mindset. That's what we just talked about on Wednesday night. I didn't use the term grinding it out, but I gave the class a homework assignment to zero in on that one thing that they're believing God for, and then I gave them a booklet to grind out that one thing, so that they can get that thing saturated in you. If you grind that out like that, we use the term definite of purpose. If you grind that thing out like that, you'll be like an eagle. You'll be able to zoom in on that thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's the same with on the road to 6 figures. If you take these principles that we're teaching you and you begin to grind those things out, like you say, you can accelerate from 1 to 4. I don't remember who said that. I think it was Stephen Covey that said that where there is clarity of vision, there is acceleration towards the goal. So, if you can get clear on what it is that you need to be doing and start doing that, it accelerates you, and you can go from 1 to 4 to, like what James was saying. And before you know it, you'll be like, oh yeah, I figured it out now. And you make that a way of life. Oh man, you'll never be broke another day in your life. Yeah, might put that in the chat. Come on, somebody tap that in the chat. I'll never be broke another day in my life. Come on.
I'll put that.
Yeah. Put that in the chat. I'll never be broke another day in my life. Yeah. I'll never be broke another day in my life. Yeah. You are the captain of your life. What's it? It was a poem or something that said I was the captain of my soul or something. Do you remember that?
I remember it was the captain of my ship. I know the poem. There's all about I'm the captain of my ship. I'm the captain of my ship. I'm the king of my domain. I'm the I do know it. I just don't know off the top of my head. I haven't read that in a while. Yeah. But
okay, come on, let's dive in.
All right, let's get into it. Okay, so how you doing, my grinders? Welcome to Rise and Thrive. There we go. All right. Oh, we talked about this just yesterday. Time blocking. So real quickly, time blocking is setting aside or setting apart a specific set of time so you can start your day. You can put yourself in order so you can fulfill what you have to do. That goes down to the 20-80 rule. You're using 20% of your time to tell yourself what 80% of what your time is going to be spent on doing. And the last one is setting micro goals. Because if your vision is to run a marathon, your micro goals will be wake up on time, run 10 minutes every day, run at this type of speed, hit this type of pace, right? These are micro goals. And as you're hitting these micro goals, eventually by hitting enough micro goals, you'll be able to run that marathon that you're looking for.
Yeah.
Very few people wake up and say, I'm going to run a marathon, never having to run a marathon. And they just wake up one day and say, let's do it.
Yeah.
Most people don't do it. Now, if you're a marathon runner and you always been practicing on if you a marathon runner and you always practice running a marathon, it is your daily life. It's what people pay you to do. If you woke up and said, I'm going to run a marathon, no one is going to question if you can or can't make it. They may question if you can make it in the time that you normally make it in.
Right.
But for this 90-day challenge, if you never made six figures and you never held it in your hand, seen it in your bank account, we're not looking for you to wake up and say, hey, I got everything in order. I can make six figures. So listen to us. Trust me, we'll walk you through. You will be in the roadway to making six figures.
Yeah.
Some of you people may be flying an airplane down six figures. Some of you people may be driving a Lamborghini. Some of you may be driving a Studebaker. Some of you may be on a horse and carriage. But it doesn't matter what everybody else is doing. As long as you're focused on you and yourself, and you're setting the right goals, you will get there.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I always got to say that because some people are like, I want to keep up with. No, the dude on the plane is in the plane for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
But that don't mean that he ain't gonna make. That don't mean that the dude in the carriage isn't gonna make six figures. It just means he's on a carriage. He got a horse and carriage, and he gonna get there. Because who knows what obstacles are in your way.
Right.
That plane may go through a whole thunderstorm. That horse and buggy may see a pothole.
Mm-hmm.
We all got our own way of life. We all got our own design. And whatever God has for us is for us as an individual. It's not, we all got to go through this.
Yeah. And I hear my apostle, he says all the time, he says, stay focused, stay faithful, and stay fruitful.
Yeah, amen.
And so we got to stay focused, and then we got to stay faithful. We got to stick to it, and we got to be fruitful, be productive, So yeah, that's good stuff.
I'm always big on that. I'm always big on being a grinder in your own field, in your own lane, and that's how you become fruitful.
Okay.
And if you keep looking at other people, you just become a hater. So when you see them people like, I want to see what he's doing. Think about it. Everybody who's always looking at somebody else and never minding their own business, what are they? Them suckers ain't fruitful. They haters.
Yeah.
You want to be a person who has their own business, who have their own mindset. Hey, guess what you doing today? I got this set up for myself. Yeah. What you doing tomorrow? Well, I got this going on and I'm working on this. Yeah. Those people are typically not haters. Why? Because they are pursuing their success already.
Right.
They don't have enough time to hate on somebody else. Yeah. They already got their goals set up. They trying to knock out goals.
Yeah.
So when you get ready to do this challenge, remember you want to put your time to work for you. Mm-hmm. Set time apart so you can plan out your day. Say, hey, this is what I plan on doing today. Mm-hmm. And then when you set your micro goals, go and do them. Just go and knock out your goals. Hey, I'm going to walk 28 miles today. Go walk it. Hey, I'm going to walk 10 miles a day. Go walk it. Mm-hmm. I'm going to get on a treadmill. I'm going to bike. Go do it. I'm going to change my diet so I can be better prepared. Have at it. It's those small adjustments that we make in the beginning that would allow us to excel or succeed in what we're planning on doing.
Right.
Yeah. That's always near and dear to my heart.
Yeah. I heard someone say something, I'm paraphrasing it. It said, you have to decide, and he was speaking of people who watch TV a lot. And they said, you have to decide what side you want to be on. Because the person you watch it on TV, they getting paid.
Yeah.
And so you watching them, you're not getting paid. So you have to decide what side you want to be on. You want to be on the grinding side where you get paid, you're making your money work, or you want to be on the other side where you just watching. And James said if you're a watcher, watchers turn into haters. And so you have to decide what side you want to be on. Well, when we talk about grinding, just the word grinding denotes that it takes work. It takes sacrifice. It takes doing some things that you may not want to do. But when you lock in on your why, why you need to be walking in six figures, why you need to do better in certain areas. Once you lock in on your why, then the motivation comes, from that. being able to stay committed on that journey. And so it's so important that we be clear about why we're doing it and why we need to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yes. We can't have nobody saying, I just need more money. That is not a good why.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just let you know that now. That's the most terriblest why I've ever heard, when somebody said, I just need more money.
Yeah.
Because you need the money for a purpose.
Right.
Having money for nothing means that your integrity could be for anything.
Right.
But if you like, hey, I wanna make sure my kids have a better lifestyle. Hey, I want to make sure I change my zip code. Hey, I want to make sure my kids are making it to a private school. Hey, I want to make sure that I have a new car that I can drive back and forth to work. Hey, I need a new minivan so I can transport my sweets or my dry cleaning business. Yeah. I need a new van so I can improve or start the company that I want to start. See, if that's your why, then it's not about the money. It's about what the money will provide once you accumulate it. Yeah. Then that's where the grind comes in, because now you got one truck and now you grinding to make sure that truck is getting back. That truck is doing what it's supposed to do, which is bring in money. Right. You're gonna make sure those customers, okay, cool, I gotta get my website up. Why? I'm grinding so I can pay enough to get somebody to make my website, because I don't know how to make a website, but I can make enough money to pay somebody to make a website. Yeah. So I can get more money coming in, so I can pay more people to do a website. You see how that cycle start going? Yeah. And when that cycle start moving, now I can't talk about how hard it is, because it's hard. But once that wheel start turning, and now you making money to pay somebody else to send out, so they can give you more prospects that bring in more money. So now you got to make more. You got to make more of your product to send more of your product out, so that can give you more money to come in, and that cycle start moving. You like, man, whew,
and see, I can't even sit down. That's being more purpose driven. So we don't chase money. We don't chase money. We chase purpose.
Amen.
And purpose bring the money, but being purpose driven, gives you a whole a different demeanor about what you're doing. And a lot of times when you get locked into your purpose, your money, if you don't, be blowing through it, if you do the right thing, like what we're saying, give it an assignment thing. When you focus on purpose, that money will be growing, and you'll forget about it. I think I got 4 or 5 stocks the day Lady Burns and I was talking about stocks, and she was looking at her stock portfolio and stuff. And so I said, I forgot where mine was. So she found it on my phone, and we went in and looked. And man, I've been making some money, boy. All my stock, I think I got 4 stocks, and all of them has been making some money. I'm talking about some hundreds, And so I was excited to see that. I was like, what? I got that money. I remember Ms. Brumfield had talked about how she looked at her stock and they had jumped up. And so when I looked at mine, I was impressed. I was like, what? That is something else. And so if you focus in on purpose and not focus in per se on the money, when you turn and you look at the money that you have assigned out, that money be growing.
Yes, it does.
So what you do? You gonna readjust it on me?
Yeah, I readjusted on you. It's the funny way that it's just funny how things work.
Okay,
it's just it's one of the funny things that people do.
So
I got like 188 things going on.
So we had 3 things we wanted to cover tonight, to go along with that 90-day challenge, and we looked at what we talked about last week. So now, we got some things that we want to look at this week.
Yes. Good. Oh, I forgot to.
You said you forgot how to do
it. Is the PowerPoint still up or no?
Well, we can bring it back up.
Okay, I'm hoping.
Oh, because you switched on us.
Okay, gotcha. my computer did its own thing.
Okay.
So always be prepared. Always got a second.
Okay.
So if the goal is to be proficient and get things done, you always got to have the ability to adjust and keep moving forward.
That's it.
The next one, I'm pretty sure the next one is talking about free and low cost resources. One of the big things in which we always run into is that how do I get from point A to point B? And I talked about it in the past. I'm gonna talk about it again. Is that there's a lot of things that we can do. If you are very new, yeah. Yeah. So if you're very new to the process of business, there are free websites
Mhm.
that you can utilize in order to get from point A to point B. When I say there's a lot of free websites out there, there's a lot of free things that you can do, or it's a lot of free help out there to assist you in getting to where you need to be.
Okay.
And by doing that, you can better execute on your day in and day out lives. See that?
Yeah, that's important. We talked about that even in the beginning when we talked about free resources when it came to food, different things. We talked about free resources when it came to minimizing how much money we're actually spending out of our pocket and being able to tap into some of the things that's available. And that's a continual thing where at different levels there are different things that you can access that can help you take the pressure off of your own budget. But a lot of times, because you're not aware of those things, there's a lot of things you're trying to we try to do on our own. We try to do on our own, and I think we got two things open.
Yeah, that's
Mute one of them. Yeah.
there we go.
All right. Yeah, so being able to make sure that we're taking advantage of the things that's available to us. And so that's important. And I think that most of the time, when you have the attitude that you have to buy everything and that you're trying to buy your way through life, you waste a lot of money and you spend a lot of money, And so it's so important that we change how we view money. And we talked about it last week. Money is a good slave, but not a good master. And so we don't want money running us. We want to run the money.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
And I think that's important that we understand that we control the money.
Yeah. And so because you have it don't mean that you have to spend it.
Yeah.
Because you have it don't mean you have to spend it. I'm finding myself looking at things differently, where before I would just go buy certain things and I would never even consider what it costs. I would just go buy it. Where now I'm making decisions and I'm saying, well, you know what? I don't really need that, so I'm not going to buy that, and so it's really changing the way that I'm thinking. And today when I saw those different investments making money, I said, I'm going to have to be more intentional about putting more money within those investments that's making money. You know what I mean? And so, a lot of times we don't realize just a little bit goes a long way. We think that we have to, start out at this high level. You don't really have to start at the high level. You just need to start. And those small things, because one of the investments that I had, it was I started at $50, and that thing was now it's it's got some hundreds in there, where it's been making some money. So then I was thinking, man, what if I would have put $1,000 in there? Man, that thing could be doing just some rolling right now. And so I'm gonna be more intentional about assigning some money to some of those places. Even if I did $50 a week or something, it would be better to just because I put the $50 in there and let that thing ride for a couple of years. It's been in there and I haven't added nothing to it, but it's plenty in there.
especially if you put it inside good stock. If you put it inside good stock and it's doing what it is supposed to do,
Yeah,
it's a benefit to everybody.
yeah, yeah. So that was one of the big things that I had challenges with in the beginning. Even though I have my retirement money is in some type of stock thing, I wasn't really into stock because I had lost so much money in it before, and it just left a bad taste in my mouth. And so, but as I was studying and getting ready for the six figures, I found out that throughout my different research, that's one of the tools that people use to get to a six-figure place. And so being able to utilize that is important, and not just sit back and think that it's going to fall out of the sky. you know so yeah, so I was waiting to let you get your thing going, and so if you got it, let's roll.
Okay, cool. So it's next one is free and low cost. So one of the big things in which we always gotta talk about is the low cost. Now what Home Depot used to do in the past. Like in the past, Home Depot did like these free classes. So if you don't know how to build, they'll teach you how to build. The same is true with a lot of things that we would like to do. So let's say you want to be a baker, but you don't know where to start. There's free courses online. So you can go to YouTube, you can look up and see, hey, it's somebody else learning how to bake, or somebody else is doing a sugar cookie, and this is how they do a sugar cookie. So now you're learning how to do a sugar cookie. If you don't know how to do financing, let's say that you got a nice company that does transportation, but you don't know how to do financing.
Mhm.
You can go to Google and say, how do I do financing? And there's somebody online, whether Pinterest or use Pinterest, LinkedIn, YouTube, or just Google or Chat GPT, and you will ask, hey, how do I do this? Right. And they can have a tutorial put out there completely free that you can utilize in order to get yourself where you need to be. One of the bigger things that is mostly unknown is community events. Because is the only time people typically see a community event is when they talk about, hey, this is the get out the vote event.
Mhm.
But they don't know that it's a like, hey, get out and become a financial entrepreneur by yourself event. Hey, we have a business improvement district event. And all these community events allow people to socialize with those people who are in the same field they're in. You just got to get out there and do what you're supposed to do, which is meet people, have fun, and eat some food.
You had to drop that in there, and then you eat some food. You eat some food. Yeah.
I think one of the easiest things that we overlook is the ability to eat some food
Okay.
or the ability to socialize.
All
Because
right.
some people think it's a one-man show or
Mhm.
or a one-woman show,
Mhm.
and we are fragmented by doing that, by not utilizing our community or utilizing our friends. And when I say utilizing, I don't mean take advantage of. I
Mhm.
mean use people for the knowledge that they're willing to give you, not tricking anybody into doing anything. But if somebody is really good at something, why not compliment them and allow them to pour into you some information that you otherwise wouldn't have?
Right. Yeah, and I think that again, we talked about it last week, but we want to say it again just to reiterate. We're not talking about being cheap, and we're not talking about misusing your time. And so when we talk about learning some classes or different things like that, if it's something that is going to cost you, let's say 10 hours to do, when you can pay somebody and get it done in an hour, then that might be something you need to consider, because your time is worth money. And being able to stay in your lane, you know, but we're going to see throughout the 90-day challenge and on the road to six figures that part of it is developing your mind, and learning things and reading is how you develop your mind, and it broadens your perspective, and it helps you to do multiple things. And so being careful not to you know, take on a project that's going to take you, too much time where you're not able to do the things that you're good at that's bringing the income, if that makes sense to you. And then the other thing is being able to understand how important it is to find that balance. Okay, to find that balance so that you don't get stuck. A lot of times people, they get off track and they get stuck and they find it difficult to get back on track, and so you have to find that balance. All right. All right, let's keep on Cadillacing. So you talked about the library, the free classes. We talked about the community events.
Yes. And now moving on is that the biggest thing that we got to go back to is from there we can go talk to combining life savings with lifestyle adjustments. One thing that we talked about earlier, but we don't we didn't put like a lot of emphasis on was how we can utilize certain events to get things done. Like a gym membership, if you go to the YMCA, I believe a gym membership for a family is about $100. If you go to a YMCA and the gym membership is, I think a single person is maybe around $60 to $70. Instead of going to a gym, instead of paying that gym membership, you could just jog outside. Now, right now is winter. So I don't suggest jogging outside in the winter unless you like them old Rocky movies. But there's a lot of things that we can do to save money and still be cost effective and still reach our health goals or reach our educational goals. One of the biggest things is the next one is spending quality time at home. So instead of going to, like one thing I talk about is your sanity, making sure you have enough money to do sanity. This is one of those things when you're spending quality time. So why don't you do a board game? Or why don't you? Right? It's one of those why don't you questions. Because instead of going to the movies, why not have a game night or play like Sorry, which is like hilarious where I come from, or Phase 10, not Phase 10, the 25th anniversary edition, which is funny, or play Uno No Mercy, which is deadly where I come from, Dominoes, deadly where I come from. Not that you're trying to physically kill people, but you're spending a lot of time not spending money, but you are having a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that you have to spend money to have fun, or that we're telling you not to spend money to have fun. We're just providing more options for everyone out there. So you don't have to spend money just to have fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then that goes to our last one, which is the no spending days, which means you set aside a time, a place where you're not spending money. You're actually you're sitting aside or you're relaxing for a whole day, or you're doing something for a whole day. But in the midst of that day, you're not spending any money.
Okay, that's a good idea. And how often should they do that?
It depends on the person.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're more skilled at it, and it's all about skill, if you're more skilled at it, you
Mm-hmm.
want to make sure that you're doing this maybe 1 or 2 times a week. If you're not skilled at it, if you're not skilled at all, right? If you have no skills at this, then instead of doing a whole day, do 12 hours.
Okay.
Once you do 12 hours, then do 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
But you want to build up to it, because the worst thing to do, or something that I would hope that you don't do, is to start it and then fall through on on something that you're supposed to be purposing for 13 weeks.
Okay.
So right now we're just laying a foundation. And one thing I want to emphasize is that it is for you to do, not attempt.
Mm-hmm.
So I would rather you do 6 hours of not spending money, and then the next day do 12 hours of not spending money. Take a break, come back, and then do 24 hours of not spending money. If that's what you desire to do. Because remember, at the end of the day, you're not running a marathon just waking up. The goal is to work yourself into doing it by getting and positioning yourself so you can be successful at it.
Yeah. Yeah. Baby steps. Baby steps. Baby
Yes.
steps. Now, did we hit all three, or that's just two?
No, we did get all three of them.
We got all three of them. So
Yes,
so
yes.
so what are the three things? So the first one was what?
The first one was what?
Which one was the first one? Okay, you muted. So this one is combined savings with lifestyles as adjustments. That was one, and then the other one, the title of the other one was um, now use free and low cost resources. All right, and then the other one, the third one was we said combined savings and lifestyle adjustments, and so there's one other one. Um, and did we hit that one today? Reflect and adjust regularly. You muted. Your mic is muted.
My mic is muted.
Okay.
Okay, now I see what's going on.
So you
There we
got,
go. It's better.
all right. Now I don't remember hitting this one today. We talked about this one today.
You hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. Now, the last but not the last thing that you always have to do is you always got to reflect on what you're doing and you got to make adjustments. And the reason why you're doing that is because if you was to run at something and you hit your head or you slowed down or you came through adversity, the biggest thing for you to do is to reflect on what you're doing. So that means you'll do a weekly check-in every 15 to 30 minutes. After you get done, you'll review your budget, you'll review what you're doing, and then you'll continue on the process. If you see adjustments that need to be made, remember, small adjustments is what you need to do in order to reach your assigned goal.
Mm-hmm.
So if you do a weekly adjustment and you see that you're not pulling in enough money towards your investments, or you do a weekly adjustment and you see that you're spending too much money in a particular area, you make small adjustments to pull yourself into the right alignment.
Mm-hmm.
And the last one is to track your progress, right? Everything that you're doing, you need to be able to see what you're doing. If you're saving money, you need to see that you're saving money. If you're putting your money in the right location, you need to see that you're putting your money in the right location. By doing that, you have that much more fuel in order to move yourself where you need to be.
All right. All right. Well, listen, we're just about out of time. And so I pray that those foundational principles of the last 2 weeks would help you to start shaping your habits. Remember, it's about renewing your mind. It's about renewing your mind. There are some things you may have to unlearn, and there are some things that you have to learn. There are some things you may have to let go, and there are some things you may have to embrace. And so you have to be able to start understanding the importance of you realizing or taking ownership of your life, because your life is the sum total of the choices that you make. And so even though people may have done you wrong, even though people may have, trip you up or whatever, ultimately the sum total of the life that you have is based on the choices that you've made. So if you want a different life or a better life, you got to make different and better choices.
Yes,
And
yes.
so you have to be able to look at it, and you may not get all of it, but grab what you can and begin to walk that out and ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Most people are thinking the same thing you're thinking. And so, and James nor myself have all of the answers, and we don't have it perfect, but we do know it'll work if we work it. All right. So as we get ready to close out, remember again that on January 3rd, we're going to kick off our 90-day challenge. Our 90-day challenge is going to be our prelude to the road to six figures. And so after the 90-day challenge, the goal is to release the book. And then after we release the book, we'll be walking through that throughout the year. And so the first week, we're going to be talking about January 3rd. We're going to be talking about laying a foundation. The second through the fourth week, we're going to be talking about building habits for success. The fifth through the sixth week, we're going to be talking about active income. Week 7 and week 8, we're going to talk about savings and investing. Week 9 and week 10, we're going to be talking about overcoming obstacles. And then week 11 and week 12, we're going to be talking about generational wealth and legacy. And then on that last week, the 13th week, is going to be like an open forum, and we'll be able to, do questions and answers and try to deal with anything that's left in the crack. Because on that next week, we'll begin our journey on the road to six figures. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So in closing, James, what's your closing? I left you a couple of minutes on the clock for your closing, because you always say I don't leave you enough closing time.
Okay. To all my grinders out there, you can do this. If you need me, I got you. But we can do this together. One day at a time, one step at a time, one foot at a time, we can accomplish with small adjustments in the right direction.
Yeah, that's good. Why don't y'all put that in the chat for me right quick? Small adjustments, small adjustments, small adjustments. Yeah, just small adjustments. You don't have to take giant steps, but just small adjustments. Well, I am excited about the 90-day challenge, and I'm excited about on the road to six figures. And I'm looking forward to seeing this thing manifest in my own life. And I'm excited about how it's going to reposition me for, a greater impact, not just on my life, but how I'll be positioned to have a greater impact on the life of my church. I always wanted to be a $10,000 giver, where I could give $10,000 at one time and it wouldn't hurt me, And so I look forward to that. And I'm really excited about the opportunity to be able to give on a higher level. And so I'm excited about it. One of the things that I've learned over the years, that I can't beat God given, and a seed always meets a need. And so I'm always looking for opportunities to sow. And I ain't getting ready to take no offering or nothing, but I'm just saying in general, I'm going to be excited about how it's going to position me to be able to be to give at a higher level. Yeah.
Yes.
And so my friend's birthday is he having a celebration tonight, and he'll be 70, and I wanted to be able to drop $7,000 on him.
Oh yeah.
But I didn't quite reach it, but on the road to six figures, yeah, I'll be I'll be hitting some hands
That'd be good.
along the way. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be hitting some hands, and so so it ain't just about me. It's about how I'll be able to bless others, and how I'll be able to impact the kingdom of God. And the water don't go through the pipe without the pipe getting wet. And so I said, God, you can use me as your conduit, and I'm going to do the right thing. You can trust me with it. I'm going to be a good steward over it. And I know, He's going to make sure that, I enjoy my part as well. All right. Yeah. You looking at it. Yeah. Well, we out of time. I got James on pins and needles right there.
Oh man, I'm looking.
Well, listen, we out of time. Thank you again for tuning in to Rise and Thrive, where we are rising out of our financial slumps and thriving in financial freedom. I'm your host, Dr. A.D. Burns. This is my co-host, Chief Minister, Brother James Jones. We look forward to seeing you all on next week for another Financial Friday. God bless you, and thank you again.